This is TechCrunch.
The ground beneath our feet holds so much energy that experts at the Department of Energy think geothermal power could generate 60 gigawatts, or nearly 10% of U.S. electricity, by 2050. Zanskar co-founder and CEO Carl Hoyland thinks that lofty number is too low, mostly because it's discounting conventional geothermal's potential. The Department of Energy's figures assume advances in enhanced geothermal, which uses fracking techniques to access hot rock deep underground. Companies like Fervo and Sage Geosystems have been pursuing that angle, and experts agree it has tremendous potential. By contrast, conventional geothermal, which taps naturally fractured hotspots, has been stagnant, generating just 4 gigawatts in the United States, up only about a gigawatt in the last decade or so. Holland told TechCrunch that conventional geothermal has been held back by outdated assumptions. Zanskar is relying on AI to help break conventional geothermal out of its malaise. In the process, the startup has resuscitated a flagging power plant in New Mexico and discovered 2 new sites with over 100 megawatts of combined potential. Those successes have helped Zanskar land a $115 million Series C. Many potential geothermal sites have been overlooked because people have been looking for evidence on the surface like a hot spring or a volcano, Hoyland said. But about 95% of all geothermal systems lack such a tell, he added. We just keep finding them by accident. That is a great application for AI. To find new geothermal resources, Zanskar first feeds supervised machine learning models a range of data, including past accidental discoveries. When they have identified a promising site, the company sends a team to the site to validate the discovery. Zanskar then has to come up with a plan to develop it. For that, the team uses another AI approach, one developed for this very purpose called Bayesian evidential learning. In Bayesian evidential learning, existing data helps build a series of assumptions known as priors, and then models work to falsify those hypotheses, spitting out probabilities for each. Where there are gaps, the startup has built a geothermal simulator to fill in the blanks. So far, Zanskar's approach has been working. The previous funding round allowed the startup to explore 3 sites, each of which it considered a success. The company has enough sites in the pipeline to support at least a gigawatt of generating capacity, Hoyland said. For now, they've been focused on the U.S. West, which has the most potential. He would like to find at least 10 confirmed sites to help Zanskar court project finance investors, which provide access to lower-cost capital than VCs. If the company can make that work, then it might get through the valley of death that has claimed many other climate tech startups. Hoyland is not convinced that Zanskar has solved all the challenges associated with finding geothermal resources, but he's optimistic the company is on the right path. Last year, consumers spent more money on non-game mobile apps than they did on games for the first time, according to the findings from market intelligence firm Sensor Tower's annual State of Mobile report. While this milestone had been seen in particular markets like the US or during certain quarters, 2025 marked the first time it occurred globally. Worldwide, consumers spent approximately $85 billion on apps last year, representing a 21% year-over-year increase. The figure was also nearly 3 times the amount spent just 5 years ago. Generative AI, a defining trend over the past year, led the revenue growth as in-app purchase revenue in this category more than tripled to top $5 billion in 2025. Downloads of AI apps also grew, doubling year over year to reach nearly 4 billion. The segment's growth can be attributed to several factors. For one, the popularity of AI assistants among consumers was a large driver, with all of the top 10 apps by downloads being AI assistants. This group was led by OpenAI's ChatGPT, Google Gemini, and DeepSeek. ChatGPT alone generated $3.4 billion in global in-app purchase revenue, a figure that we reported on late last year. Last year, consumers spent 48 billion hours in generative AI apps, or a little more than 3.5 times the total time spent in 2024 and 10 times the level seen in 2023. Session volume, meaning the number of times users opened and used an app, topped 1 trillion last year. Of note, this figure was growing faster than downloads, suggesting that existing users were deepening their engagement faster than the apps were adding new users. Another factor driving AI app revenue and adoption is that big tech companies like Google, Microsoft, and X have been heavily investing in their AI assistants to challenge ChatGPT. Over the past year, they've been rolling out new capabilities at a rapid pace, improving in areas like coding assistance, content generation, reasoning, task execution, accuracy, and more. The report specifically called out improvements in image and video generation. Among the top AI publishers, OpenAI and DeepSeek accounted for nearly 50% of global downloads, up from 21% in 2024. Meanwhile, big tech publishers grew their share of the market from 14% to nearly 30% during this same time, crowding out earlier ChatGPT competitors like Nova, Codeway, and ChatSmith. The report also highlighted the role that mobile plays in connecting users to generative AI services. Sensor Tower estimates that the total audience for AI assistants topped 200 million in the US by year end, and more than half were accessing the assistants exclusively on mobile devices. In 2024, for comparison, only around 13 million users were mobile only. Beyond assistants, other popular AI apps included the AI music generation app Suno, ByteDance's text-to-video app Himeng AI, and AI companion apps like Character AI and Polybuzz. However, AI wasn't the only revenue driver last year, Sensor Tower found. Other apps, including those in categories like social media, video streaming, and productivity, also helped fuel the growth, the report noted. For instance, consumers spent an average of 90 minutes per day on social media apps, totaling nearly 2.5 trillion hours, up 5% year over year. That's it from TechCrunch. For more stories like these, go to TechCrunch.com.